Trending Today, where we decode the patterns behind the headlines. Today, we are digging into a directive from a former U.S. president that has the entire world looking up at the skies.
And that's really the question on everyone's mind, isn't it? This is a topic that has shot from the fringes of conspiracy right into the heart of presidential politics. And here it is, the catalyst for it all. Former President Donald Trump has gone public, directing federal agencies to start identifying and releasing government files on UFOs, UAPs, and yes, potential extraterrestrial life. This isn't some backroom rumor, it's a direct statement, right out there on his Truth Social platform. But this is so much more than just a headline. This whole thing blew up right after some viral remarks from former President Barack Obama, and it's reignited a global debate. So what we're really seeing here is this fascinating intersection of high-stakes politics, decades of public curiosity, and a genuine unsolved scientific mystery. So to really get what's going on, here's how we're going to break it down. We'll look at the directive itself, we'll decode what declassification actually means in this context, untangle the political back and forth that seems to have triggered it, look at the long history of these questions, and then explore why this matters on a global scale. All right, first up, the directive. What did it actually say, and what's the real story behind it? Okay, the specific wording here is kind of weird. Trump directs the Secretary of War, which is an old title for the Secretary of Defense that nobody's used since 1947. Now, was that intentional? A slip-up? We don't know, but it definitely adds a strange layer to the whole thing. The order itself is broad, covering everything from aliens to UAPs, and he says it's all because of tremendous public interest. But before we get totally carried away, let's just hit pause and establish the scientific baseline here. As of right now, to this day, there is still zero, and I mean zero, confirmed hard evidence of any kind of extraterrestrial visit or contact with Earth. It's really important we keep that fact front and center as we go through this. So, with that baseline firmly in mind, let's move on. What does an order to identify and release government files actually mean? What could we realistically expect to see coming out of this? First, we've got to get the terminology straight because the words really matter here. You see, the government doesn't really talk about UFOs much anymore. The official term you're going to see everywhere is UAP. So, what exactly is a UAP? Well, UAP stands for Unidentified Aerial Phenomena. It's the official government label for, anything seen in the air that can't be immediately identified by the person who saw it. It's a deliberately neutral term designed to be a lot broader and less loaded with assumptions than unidentified flying object. And right here is the absolute key to understanding all of this. Unidentified does not mean alien. It's not a synonym. When the Pentagon looks into a UAP, their main worry isn't little green men. It's whether that object is a super advanced drone or a spy plane from a rival country. Unidentified just means we don't know what this is yet. Which brings us to a really important analytical question. Is this whole directive a genuine push for government transparency? Or is it maybe a political distraction? A lot of critics were very quick to point out how convenient the timing was, shifting the news away from other more controversial topics. And to really get a feel for that timing, we have to look at what seems to be the immediate trigger for this whole thing. A very public back and forth between two former presidents. This timeline really lays it all out. So it starts with Barack Obama on a podcast. He makes a joke that aliens are real, but then he immediately clarifies that when he was president, he looked and there was no evidence of them being hidden away in places like Area 51. Just a few days later, Trump jumps on this, accusing Obama of leaking classified info. And now, in a masterful political pivot, Trump is ordering the release of the exact kind of information he accused Obama of mishandling. Yeah, and when you put their positions side by side, you can really see the political chess game going on. Trump takes this position of, hey, I don't know if they're real or not, while painting Obama's comments as some kind of serious security breach. Obama, on the other hand, was making a much more nuanced point, right? He was distinguishing between the statistical likelihood of life somewhere out there in the universe versus the total lack of proof that it's ever come here. But this political spat, it didn't just happen in a vacuum. It tapped into a public fascination that has been building for, almost 100 years. I mean, this fascination goes way back, from Roswell in the 40s to Project Blue Book. But in just the last few years, interest has exploded again, this time inside the government. We've had congressional hearings, the Pentagon created a whole new office called AARO just to investigate these sightings. And yet their findings, including a huge report from March 2024, keep coming to the same conclusion. There is no evidence of alien tech. Most UAPs end up being identified as things like spy planes, satellites, or even just weather balloons. It's a fact that just keeps coming up, decade after decade, investigation after investigation. So if the science keeps pointing in one direction, why does this story have such a powerful grip on the entire world? Why is everyone watching so intently? It's because the implications are so much bigger than just a search for aliens. This directly impacts public trust. Will the government be seen as open and honest or as secretive? It shapes scientific research, deciding where money and attention go. It completely drives media stories. It influences politics, and it can either fuel or calm down conspiracy culture. What happens next is going to send ripples through all of these areas. Ultimately, that's what this is. This story sits perfectly at the intersection of hard science, calculated politics, and the endless power of human imagination. It's a pattern of curiosity and skepticism that really defines our time. So, let's quickly recap what we've decoded here. 1. Donald Trump has issued a very public directive to release government UAP files. 2. This came right on the heels of a political clash with Barack Obama about his comments. 3. We have absolutely no idea what, if anything, will actually be released. And 4, the fundamental fact hasn't changed. There's no confirmed evidence of extraterrestrial contact. Here at Neural Tarot, we don't just chase the headlines, we decode the patterns behind them. If you appreciate this kind of clear-eyed analysis of complex stories, please make sure you subscribe. And that leaves us with one final big question for you. Whether these files contain bombshells or just a bunch of boring reports, do you believe they will finally give us an answer to that age-old question? Are we alone? Let us know what you think in the comments.